let's welcome in the governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp. Governor, welcome.
Hey, good morning. Go Dogs.
Right. You guys had a big celebration yesterday. You also had a visit from the president, who called you and the Georgia legislature out for, I guess, subscribing to Jefferson Davis-like laws. Listen to him, then I want to get your response.
The Georgia Republican Party, the state legislature, has now given itself the power to make it easier for partisan actors, their cronies, to remove local election officials. Think about that. Today, we call on Congress to get done what history will judge. Pass the Freedom to Vote Act. Pass it now, which will prevent voter suppression. So here in Georgia, there's full access to voting by mail.
I have met with voters in Georgia. I have heard your outrage about the anti-voter law here and how many voters will likely be kept from voting. And Georgia is not alone.
Do you think, Governor, they're characterizing the changes in election law in Georgia accurately? And if not, what is wrong?
Oh, man, I feel like I need to be in the studio with big whiteboards putting up the facts versus the lies that they're saying. You know, President Biden's talking about us being a suppressive state for voting. His own state of Delaware, you got to have an excuse to vote absentee by mail. When we passed this legislation, they didn't even have early voting in Delaware. We had 15 days. Now we can have up to 17. I'm sure he didn't mention yesterday that we added the opportunity for one additional mandatory Saturday during early voting in Georgia with Senate Bill 202. 2 Sundays that counties can elect to have voting on or not. I'm sure he forgot that part when he was saying that we were restrictive. But listen, President Biden and the Vice President, they have lost the middle of the country. They've lost Build Back Better, and now they're trying to do something to shore up the liberal base of the party, because that's really all they got left. Georgians know better what we did with this law. I was laughing watching him during his speech yesterday when he said voters can't have food or water in line. Well, our point of this legislation was to make sure people aren't in line long enough to need food or water. We've got a provision where if you have long lines that's caused by the counties will have to take action, and a voter can order a pizza or a drink while they're in line as long as they're within the 150 feet radius we have to keep people from being electioneered. But if you're outside that, any political party can serve all the food and barbecue they want.
Which sounds great. Although I don't know how much you can actually trust Joe Biden. I know it was in April of this past year when the Washington Post gave him 4 Pinocchios for saying that the new Georgia law impacted voting hours. It did not. Meanwhile, you also mentioned long lines, Governor.
Well, hey, Brian,
go ahead.
Let me just throw one thing. I mean, look, this is why Stacey Abrams wasn't with him yesterday. She wrote the speech, I'm sure. These are all their talking points. The problem is the president and the vice president have never taken time to read what's actually in the bill. They just believe if they tell these lies and mistruths so much that people will believe them, and I'm going to continue to push back against that.
And I know you have said in the past that the new laws make it easier to vote and harder to cheat. Meanwhile, speaking of long lines, we saw in the run-up to Christmas as people were experiencing firsthand the supply chain crisis. I know the President of the United States said he saved Christmas, but thanks to, for instance, the port of Savannah in Georgia, a lot of stuff was able to be offloaded. Finally, our Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, made it to the West Coast, got to see the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach with his own 2 eyes, and he says things are going great. Watch this, Governor.
One of the reasons why Christmas was not, in fact, canceled is that ports like LA and Long Beach moved record levels of goods, allowing an all-time record high in terms of retail sales this holiday season. Considering the pressures that this country and these communities have been under, that is an extraordinary achievement.
Governor, I don't know what he's talking about. The supply chain problems are still real. We got a picture of my grocery store last week. I was in the paper towel aisle. There was one roll of Bounty paper towels, and that was it. And that's one of the biggest grocery stores in my county, which is crazy. Thankfully, Savannah, your port was able to step up and help out because the West Coast was screwing up.
Well, look, we started working on this issues long before people really realized what the problem was, or before it got so bad, because of the president's policies, quite honestly wanting to keep the country shut down for so long. I read an article this morning about hotels can't get soap and toothpaste and bed covers and other things that they need. You look at Savannah. I was there over New Year's for a wedding. 0 ships at anchor out there. They've moved every single boat through, gotten it done. Still in L.A. and Long Beach, it's my understanding they have 75 to 80 ships still at anchor. We flew back from, we did our border trip Christmas Eve, visiting our troops that are helping the Border Patrol. We saw ships all over the coast around the country on the southern border that are still at sea. And it's because we have a private sector authority where we have real business people that are running the operations of the port. We got a great executive director. And I remember them making a big deal about L.A. Long Beach going 24/7, which I don't think they ever did. We've been doing that for months here because our folks saw the problem coming, and we weren't waiting on the government to solve it.
So where is all the merchandise? Why is it taking so long? I talked to someone yesterday who texted me after we had this conversation on air. She said she's waited she ordered chairs for her dining room table 18 months ago. Why? They have plenty of time to bring these barges into Texas or into Savannah, into your port. Why isn't that happening?
Well, I think a big part of the reason, from my understanding, talking to the folks on the Ports Authority, the executive director, and the business people, is the retailers are ordering so much stuff because they spent their inventory down during the worst parts of the pandemic. Then when the economy started heating up, especially in the Republican states that opened up and continued to stay open, the demand was so great. On top of that, with Christmas season, great companies that are in Georgia like Home Depot ordering spring furniture and other things, all that was hitting around the Christmas season, and the retailers simply didn't have enough place to put the containers. They didn't, even if they got a truck to the port to move the container, they had no warehouse where to put it. And so really the retailers were using the port as a distribution center and a warehouse, and that's why early on the Savannah port and the Georgia Ports Authority started expanding real estate so that we had more room to stock containers to help our clients.
Right. I want to bring you to what you're doing now. You want to get another 4 years as governor. You had a tough race against Stacey Abrams. She never admitted that you won. No one talks about that. Maybe that's the reason she didn't show up yesterday. We'll see. She had a conflict. But your fundraising totals are definitely eyebrow raising. You have $12 million to date, $7 million since July. And one thing that happened recently is Senator Perdue says, I want to be governor. I want to get the nomination. He is also reasonably popular in Georgia. How has that affected your fundraising and the way you're approaching this?
Well, I haven't double checked these numbers, but it's my understanding we raised about $1.5 million, $2 million since Senator Perdue got in the race. That's not anything I can control. I will tell you that I'm focused on the issues that Georgians care about: elections integrity, making sure our supply chain's met. We're the #1 state in the country for business. We got the lowest unemployment rate we've ever had. In this history of this state, least amount of people on the unemployment roll since after 9/11. We had a record year for economic development. We got the lowest unemployment rate of the 10 most populous states. But we're also fighting back against Joe Biden and 39-year high inflation, the disaster policies at the border. We got troops on the ground helping there. We did that for the Trump administration. We're continuing to help the poor Border Patrol down there now that doesn't have support. I said yesterday I thought Vice President Harris should have just stayed on the plane, and they should have taken her to McAllen, Texas, where she could see what I've seen 3 or 4 times now.
Something you have not seen, Governor, in 41 years is what happened on Sunday night, and your Georgia Bulldogs beat Alabama to win the College National Football Championship. As the #1 Georgian, it had to feel great because Alabama is an amazing team.
Oh, man. Marty and I both are Georgia graduates. Our 3 daughters, one of them has graduated as well. 2 of them have been in school there. We were just so excited, like the whole Bulldog Nation. And if you guys remember when we talked about really Stacey Abrams and President Biden's pressure to get the Major League Baseball All-Star Game moved back last summer, it was poetic justice when the Braves won the World Series. And nobody talked about our voting law, by the way, here or in Houston, Texas. And that's the way we ended the year, and we've started it great with the Bulldog National Championship.
Kind of overshadowed him, who gave his speech yesterday, because everyone was talking about your college football.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that was a scheduling conflict too, I'm sure. He obviously didn't realize what was going on in Georgia yesterday.
Well, congratulations. We're so happy for your team. Thank you for coming on with us.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.